Greetings Internet and welcome to Aaron Plays. In this episode I'm going to be doing an unboxing of Ambush and its 3 expansions by Victory Games. This is something I've recently picked up via the wonderful Internet, and I have opened the boxes myself already, but I'd like to go through what is in there. I mean, it's a game from 1983, so it's been unboxed probably a million times. But it's my thoughts. I've been waiting for this game for a long time. I want to give you my thoughts on how I feel about it and how, or if, I'm looking forward to actually bringing it to the table. So let's have a look at the box and what's inside the main core unit. And here's the box. So this arrived in pretty good condition. I had to tape up the corner, but other than that, no, everything is intact. I've checked the counters, they were all punched. You can see it's quite cartoony cover, and that sort of sets the image, or the way I viewed the game in the past, that it's the Hollywood version of World War II rather than a deep dive simulation. Looking at the back, so yeah, this is Victory Games 1982. It gives it a medium complexity rating, obviously as high as it can go on the solitaire suitability because it's a solitaire game. This was designed by Mr. Solitaire himself and his sidekick. You've got Eric Lee Swift, but John Butterfield, who's well renowned for his solitaire games. There's definitely his input into this package. So that's the artwork on the box. Again, that Hollywood look, the American heroes, the German villains. So that's the angle the game is trying to portray. But let's have a look what's actually inside. So we've got some cards. We're going to look what these actually are in detail shortly. There's a nice rule book. The rules themselves are, well, there's not many pictures. It's definitely not up to the modern day standards with pictures and explain things. There's a lot of text, crunch text. I've been reading these rules to get my head around them, and yeah, there's a lot to actually absorb. They are sort of programmed instruction, but whereas with some games of programmed instruction you might have 3 pages, then you play this scenario, then another 2 pages, you play that scenario, and such forth. This wants you to read a whopping, I think it's about 20 odd pages. 9, the campaign. So yeah, you're able to play mission 1 after 27 pages. That's a lot of reading, and a lot of reading of new concepts and different ideas for the time, 83, and for me, because I haven't played anything quite like this. So yeah, a few diagrams there for line of sight, which is normally in a tactical game the most difficult thing to get your head around. But yeah, a lot of dense rules. There's also, so you then play mission 1, which is what I intend to do after you've read those 27 rules. And then you go into campaign rules, vehicles, and what else did you get in here? A lot more vehicles, accident checks, satchel charges. Then you play mission 2, 3, it looks like mission 4 and 5, so it looks like, I think once you've actually cracked 6, 7, there's 27 pages of rules, play mission 1, then about another 4 pages or 5 pages of rules, then you can play the rest. Yeah, I would have liked a bit more even breakup, because I say those 27 pages of rules are dense. But I'm working my way through it. Next up, paragraph booklet. So this is where the game tells you what is going on. And this booklet, do not read until you are directed to do so. It's like one of those fighting fantasy books. You know, if you turn left, read page or paragraph 25. If you turn right, read paragraph 42, etc. So you're directed to do fire instructions in here, and there's enough there for the 8 missions that's given in the game. So again, there's no artwork in this. This is purely text, which is what you'd expect because it's all about paragraphs. This here is where the mission cards go into. You can see there's these little holes. So let me just get mission card. These are the mission cards. Okay, let's take one off. So each mission has multiples of these cards, and each one's got two sides. So this is the mission 1's card. That would slot in. And you go there. Okay, and hopefully we can line it up, and hopefully you can see words and text is in here. So I'm actually upside down, so that might make a bit more sense. There we go. Let's try that. Okay, right. So say I've got a squad, sorry, a chap, because each of the counters is one guy, and I move him into a hex, and it's H12. So I'd move this to H12 on here, and then I'd look. I think that's how you do it. Or does it just say like that? Actually, that's what I've got to. So I've not played the game yet, but you line it up. You might look at H12 there. Let's have a look at there. And there's only one line up on H12, and that's one. It tells me to go to paragraph 179. I would read then 179, and it'll tell me what to do from there. This must have been an absolute ball ache to actually design and develop. I mean, okay, on computers now they do this sort of thing in programming, and it's done, I presume, quite quickly and efficiently. But back in the day, back in '83, I mean, look at the amount of information that must have been play tested and checked. It's phenomenal. And it's probably why there's only 5 missions in the actual box itself. So each of these missions has got multiple cards, and you, as the scenario progresses, you will change the cards as the Germans become more active or alert to what you're actually doing. So you can see there are a lot of these actual cards and units. So let's put that back in there, put that in there. You get the play aid card. Good quality for back then. It's not flimsy at all. A lot of information on the sheet. Is it two-sided? No, it's not two-sided. So I think you're meant to be able to set this up next to you. I'd probably have it in my mitts as I'm playing through. And it has everything you'd expect: the weapons, assaults, equipment costs, and yeah, you've got squad generation tables. Yes, you actually can construct your own squad out of X amount of points, and that's what you record on one of these sheets. So you set up your squad, you have your 8 chaps, how many points you spent, weapon points, and then as you're playing the scenario, what condition. That condition relates to that whichever mission card that you put in, how they are activated, and other details, notes that you'll take. Sightings, there's a certain X amount of sightings that will refer to. And again, this is after just one read through of the rules. The sighting will determine what your guys have already seen and been activated to, and it also might vary the actual condition, victory points, and yeah, each of the guys has different ratings. Initiative, can't remember what PC is, weapon skill, drive skill, can't remember what MPA is either. But support is what they're carrying, how much ammo. Can't remember quite what CPs I said. I've just done one read through of the rules. Then the maps. There are 2 maps, so you'll be playing 8 scenarios on just 2 maps. Now, if you think of the modern game, for example, Combat Commander, you get, for every mission or scenario, you get a map. So this, is now back for 83. That's not bad. I mean, it's not fantastic, but it's not bad. But I'm a bit concerned that, again, I've done a deep dive into each of the missions, that it might do like the old squad leader used to do, says, treat this wood as a gully or something like that, or treat this road as a hedge. I'm not sure if it does that kind of thing. But you've got woods, buildings, this is a stream stroke river, a road with a bridge. Not quite sure, actually, that's classed as a cover hex, wood hex, different elevations, so level 1, or level 1, level 2, and then we go up here to level 3. So there are different levels. So yeah, it's got the kind of detail that you would expect in a squad level game. Now on this side of it, this here is how you control, or how the different troops are activated and in what order. You roll certain dice, it'll tell you where to place activation chits, and when your guy activates, you move the chit down to show that they have done what they need to do. The Germans have got activation numbers as well. So that there controls the action on the board. There are 2 different types of phases. You've got, I can't remember the word it uses, operations, and then you've got action round. In the operations, you pretty much can do what you want, but every hex you move into, you check to see if there's anything activated, and if a German does activate, you then move into the action rounds as well, until there are no more active Germans on the board. Then you go back into operations. So it varies between the 2. The action round is a lot more detail, and the operations is a lot more freestyle. So the way I look at it is, if you're playing a role-playing game, the operations is the general chit-chat as you're moving through it, and the action rounds is as soon as combat occurs. You break it down, and you have initiatives and such forth from there. So that's map 1. And then you've got a second map, which I think has a lot more buildings on it. So this is a built-up area. Okay, railway track going through that, but you still have that initiative track, the action rounds over there, a river running through. So yes, so quite varied terrain on each map. My slight concern is only 2 maps for 8 missions. So I'm not sure how stale that they could be. And then the counters. Now, these aren't too bad considering the date they come out. Again, we're talking 1983. I probably need to clip them. I know I'm one of those. I am a counter clipper. So I wonder if we can get in there. Focus on the actual piece. So that's one of your squad guys. So yeah, it's not great for its time. I hate this little bit of fluff here because it's always annoying to get off when they used to do counters with little joins in the middle rather than joined on the corner. But again, representative of their time period. That'll be one of you guys on the actual map. Obviously got your Germans. Again, each one of these is an individual soldier. I'm sure we can get that in the light there. You've got different weapons. So you've got like your heavy machine gun for the Germans, LMGs and such forth. And for the Americans, you've got bazookas, satchel charges, grenades, SMGs, LMGs, or Brownings. You've also got other counters here for events that occur on the map. You place these, and different other terrain effects that might come in, you know, explosions, bridges, and such forth. And then status markers for different conditions that you might be on the board, like prone, killed in action, and captured, and such forth. So not many counters, but enough to give a decent mix of actions and capabilities. And then the last thing we'll look at is these. These are the enemy cards. So there are, I think it's about 80 of them, maybe 90. And these, I've put them in numerical order. So you're starting with, why German 2? Maybe what's up to German 1? But anyway, they have on here different things. This is where each individual soldier will be told, when you look at the paragraph, it says, get out soldier German 14 or something like that. And on there, there'll be his stats, how many victory points he's worth, and also his options, which paragraphs he'll do when he wants to do certain things. So you might roll a dice for him. And then here, these are specials. So these might be self-preservation, or if something else directs you to one of these actual instructions. So again, there's quite a lot of variability in here with the enemy. And also there's a few Americans, in case an extra guy comes on with your mission or joins you, or you find you might have to rescue somebody. So there's a few American cards as well. Again, representative of the quality of the time, but they do the job. They're in good condition for say, a second-hand game, so I'm quite happy with those. So that's Ambush. Let me have a quick, my thoughts. Well, I'm not disappointed. The quality of the game that I received, considering it's second hand from '83, so it's 40 years old. It looks good. There's enough in that box probably to keep me entertained for at least a year. With the 8 missions, I intend to do mission 1. The rules are a crunch. You know, we're used to more updated rules and thoughts and process, more examples of play, and so on. However, I haven't seen anything that's made me go, "Ooh, I don't understand that," or "Ooh, that looks a bit cringeworthy." So, and I have watched a couple of YouTubes of people playing the rules. They do seem, once you understand them, to have a fairly even flow. And hopefully, when I do mission 1, I should imagine it'll be a lot of stop-start rule checking and such forth. But hopefully, I will get into it as we go along. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to the table. And well, let's have a look at the other things I received. I mean, I said I've got the 3 expansion models, so let's have a look at some of the expansions. Well, all the expansions. Why not? Move out. Well, the first expansion for Ambush came out the year after its publication, and yeah, again the Hollywood look continues. And these are what they were used to call a gamut module. I think it might have been Avalon Hill that used the word gamut or something, or gamete. I noticed there's no Mr. Butterfield's name mentioned here. The Eric Lee Smith is continuation, and the missions have been designed by Joseph Reiser. I don't really know his pedigree, but so looks like Butterfield has done what he normally does actually with his solitaire game. He designs the system, does normally the first box and such forth, and then moves on. So yeah, how that actually works and compares with the balance of the missions, unknown. So in here there are 60 new character cards, 11 new mission cards, so that's those ones with the little numbers on them, and 1 booklet. So there's no extra map. Let's have a look what's inside this little box. And so, get it all out. Okay, so yeah, there's a booklet which has the errata for the ambush, and I believe there's 4 additional missions in here. Mission 9, 10, 11 and 12. And then you've got the paragraphs from there on. Now, my slight concern is, if you remember I mentioned there's 8 missions with 2 maps. Now we've actually got 12 missions on just 2 maps. So I'm not sure how repetitive the terrain gets to feel on those 2 maps. But generally, you say you've got the paragraphs. You've got more of these charts. And the cards haven't even actually been. And this is how cards used to come back in the good old days. You know, the nice little poker style cards we've got nowadays. They used to come with these and you had to, yes, you had to tear them off together. So I haven't touched those and I won't touch those until I come to play the missions. Oh, and at the bottom of the box you've actually got the old games part list. Avalon Hill stroke Victory Games. Yeah, so not too much in the box, but an extra 4 missions. And paragraphs, etc. So again, probably another 2 or 3 months worth of entertainment in there. Again, it's depending on the maps. The next module that came out, and this was 85, so you know, fast and swift. Purple Heart, an ambush module. Again, the Hollywood theme. This one, contents-wise, has a little bit more to it. It's got still that this is done by the Joseph Reiser again, and you've got 60 more cards, 13 mission cards, 1 new paragraph booklet, and a new map. In fact, actually, 3 new maps and extra counters. Not sure how many missions are in here. 6 additional missions. So okay, so that's not bad. So in one box, you've actually got an extra 50% of missions. So that now takes us to 6, it's 12, that's 18 missions in total in the system at this point. So again, the paragraph booklet, which I presume will start off, oh, there's no errata on there, an introduction, additional rules for what's brought into this one, rules, clarifications and errata. I thought it had to be somewhere. Hints and reminders, the different missions themselves, and the paragraph booklet continuing on. So I'm not sure though, that was something that was in the box. I don't think it's actually part of the game, but I'm sure where to put it. So counters, unpunched, more of the same kind of things, different terrain types. Now the maps, there's 1 full map. Okay, so again with the little action chart and so on, and the terrain. You've got, looks like different kinds of terrain on this one from other ones. This is new. Look like some kind of vineyard, I suppose. It is a vineyard, hex. Okay, and then we've got this terrain here, brush. So we've got new terrain types. And you've still got the roads, the buildings, the hills. We've got crests here as well, so that's new on this, and walls down the bottom here. Okay, so we expanded the terrain. Same kind of artwork on the map, so I've got no problem with the art style. I like it actually. And these are half maps. Okay, and these that are added depending on the mission to the other full maps to change the map. So I like that. So it's utilising the maps that we've already got. So we've got 3 full maps and 2 half maps which fit and change the other full maps. That's quite nice. There's 2 of those. There's an actual harbour. So yeah, same, different terrain types on there as well. Buildings, the brush, So yeah, quite nice. Cards again, unpulled out. So again, I'll only pull these out when I actually get to do Purple Heart. And the mission cards. Don't know how long it takes to actually develop these things, but yeah, and play test and ensure that they actually are correct. So yeah, so there's an extra 6 missions in there. Oh, and a couple of counters just fell out. There we go. Back in. So I don't know what these are from. Oh, that's a modern tank, but it came in the box. So until I actually do a deep dive on those, find out what I can do with them, I'm not sure. So that's Purple Heart. And then the last expansion for Ambush itself, Silver Star. And this one came out in '87, so a 2-year gap. Again, well, you can't get more Hollywood than that, can you? You know, I mean, John Wayne or what? Yeah, sorry, the light was in the way there. So yeah. In this we have more cards, mission cards, another counter sheet, program, paragraph mission booklet, another 3. So 1 full sheet and 2 mini sheets. So yeah, it looks like, this one's set, it says welcome to Italy. So the missions are set in Italy. 6 more missions, so that takes it to 24 missions in total. That's not bad. That's not bad. I can't see me ever doing all of them, but you never know. It depends how much I get into the game. And look at these brave American boys approaching now. Is that meant to be a tiger? It sort of looks like a tiger, doesn't it? Of course it's a tiger. Every German tank was a tiger. So, and in here, we've got everything upside down. Another rules booklet with all those paragraphs. Different missions. And again, I don't know if these missions get harder as you go through or just more varied. And obviously, like mission 1 is going to be in the original package is going to be like well easy, and by the time you get into these ones, you're just hoping to achieve something to get a victory. I don't know how they stack or rank or whatever, or if it is even a ranking system. But that's quite a thick booklet. Oh, the art style's changed on this. It's a little bit more. Okay, well these maps won't be fitting with the other ones, or if they do, it'll be very jarring because that's, I suppose, yeah, it's representing Italy, isn't it? So it's maybe it's a bit more sunnier, so it's definitely more yellow. So that's one of your hard maps. Full map. Let's open that up. I mean, yeah, it's quite pretty. I can't fault it for its prettiness. Yeah, and you still got the action box over here. Yeah, they definitely improved. Is it an improvement? I wouldn't say no. It's not an improvement. It's just a different way of doing it, and I do like it. So, and another. So again, these almost fit at the bottom or the top or the other, or that one match sheet. So again, you've got cards, counters, and additional counters for it. The cards in their normal standard, still attached, and then the mission cards themselves, they will slot into the paragraph booklets. So yes, there's quite a lot of components in that one. So a total of 24 missions over core game and 3 expansions. It's quite a lot. It's quite a lot. Well, that's my unboxing of Ambush. So my initial thoughts are, well, there's a lot there. That should keep me quiet for a while. Keep me out of trouble. So got a lot to say. Another read of the rules before I put it to the table, and then struggle through that first mission, see how it goes. Replay value. Okay, so what is the? I mean, the missions, the paragraphs are going to stay the same. The map is going to stay the same. But I suppose if you do a mission one way, and then 6 months, a year, 2 years later, you do the same mission but try it a different way, I assume it will evolve differently. Okay, and also if you've got different squads and guys and characters and so forth. The basic premise behind the scenario will be the same, but then it's the same when you play, say, Combat Commander, and you play Mission 1 or Scenario 1 from there. It's still the same map, it's still the same guys, you just approach it differently. So it's going to have that kind of replay value, in my mind, until I actually sit down and do it and go, you know what, there is no replay value here because I've read every paragraph, it's just repeating the same paragraphs. I don't know until I actually play it. But the variability, the amount of German soldiers there, the slight concern is in those initial 12 scenarios, 2 maps, and no variability to that. But then it depends, you might be coming on from different sides. And again, it could say in there, and I hope it doesn't, but I'll find out as I do each mission, that different terrain might say these buildings are not there, or don't count them, or the road doesn't exist, or the road is a river, or something like that. I don't know until I deep dive, but I hope it doesn't do that. And hopefully, once you're in the mission, you'll view the terrain differently because you're approaching it from different sides or different angles, and your enemy's different as well. So that's my only slight concern on those first 12, is that it's only using 2 maps. Then after that, each of those expansions had new maps and those half maps. So hopefully, though again, the Italian one, you've got 1 main map and 2 little half maps, so that's 6 missions on that variability, because it's that different art style. And hopefully they don't have the 2 art styles linked, because that would be very jarring. But that I can only find out as I'm actually playing and going through it. So that's my thoughts on Ambush. Sort of unboxing. It's not a review because I haven't played it yet, but initial preview. There we go, that's the word I'm looking for. It's a preview of what I feel. So let me know what you guys feel in the comments and sections. If you played the game before, am I getting the right kind of vibe from it? I say it's a 40-year-old game in the core set, and then obviously the other ones are a little bit newer, but not much. I know the system carried on the Pacific Front with something called Battle Hymn, which had a Leatherneck expansion. I haven't got that. I'm not sure if I want to get out and see how I get on with these before I spend more cash, because apparently that's a little bit harder to get hold of. So yeah, comments, let me know, thoughts. If you haven't hit, I know it's almost like, feels like begging a little bit, but if you haven't hit the like button, do so please, because A, it's free, B, it helps the channel, and C, it just lets me know if you are enjoying what you're seeing. And if you haven't done so already and enjoy my content, please hit the subscribe button. Again, it helps the channel. It's all this algorithm that YouTube goes through. But until next time, I'll see you later. Bye, Internet.